University libraries.
Tune in for Philosophy Talk, the program that questions everything.
Except your intelligence.
Coming up, the philanthropy trap.
Trap? Where would we be without philanthropy?
One step closer to realizing how empty and venal our political systems are.
Think of all the good things philanthropists do.
Philanthropy is just a public relations arm of destructive capitalism.
What a grouch.
The philanthropy trap. Next time on Philosophy Talk.
Listen to Philosophy Talk today at noon on KSJE 90.9 FM, Farmington. This program is supported by San Juan Health Partners Urology, providing a wide range of personalized services for the whole family, including children. Our caring professionals are dedicated to helping meet your urology health needs with skill, experience, and service you need. For a complete listing of our services and to learn more, visit sanjuanhealthpartners.com or call 505-609-6300. San Juan Health Partners Urology, a division of San Juan Regional Medical Center. 10 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday morning. I'm almost a day ahead of myself. Tuesday morning, February 26th. You're listening to KSJE 90.9 FM, the information and cultural beacon of the Four Corners, broadcasting from San Juan College. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin, and thank you for tuning in this morning. A special welcome to our viewers who are watching our visual radio program on the KSJE Facebook page and YouTube channel. Welcome aboard, everybody. It's good to have you with us. Coming up in just a moment, my guest on the program this morning from the Bloomfield School District, Superintendent Dr. Kim Mizell, is here. I'll be talking with her in just a moment on KSJE. And then later on this hour, as we do every Tuesday, we'll be checking in with the Farmington Regional Animal Shelter about some of the pets they have available for adoption this week. And we'll show you those animals, too, if you're watching us on our visual radio stream this morning. So stay tuned for that. Mikesh will be along at 9 a.m. after the news, roving with the arts. Today, Mick is playing more Haydn symphonies for us. He's up to Haydn Symphony number 98. That's coming up this morning today on Roving with the Arts after the news at 9 o'clock on KSJE. And a quick reminder, of course, you can connect with us on all platforms of social media. Don't forget, of course, our Facebook page and our YouTube channel where our visual radio programs are going this morning. But don't forget about Twitter and our new page on Instagram as well. We hope you'll connect with us there. Also, you can check out our events calendar if you're looking for something to do in the region at ksje.com. And we've got lots of things coming up today and later on this week on our regional events calendar. As we take a look here, the Farmington Chamber of Commerce After Hours is here at San Juan College this week on Thursday. So hope to see a lot of you here. KSJE will be presented there as well. There's a film presentation on March the 1st, Indian Horse, from the Farmington Cinematheque program here at San Juan College. Also today at the Farmington Children's Museum, a celebration of Dr. Seuss. And don't forget about the National Fiery Foods and Barbecue Show happening in Albuquerque this weekend. Just some of the many, many events, as you can see them scrolling by there on our screen, that you'll find. Just go to our regional events calendar at ksje.com. Well, now let me turn to my guest who is here with me this morning from the Bloomfield School District, Superintendent Dr. Kim Mizell. Dr. Mizell, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Can't remember what day it is, but I'm doing okay.
Well, that's good.
It's one of those weeks, right?
That's right.
They are flying by fast and furious, but it's great to see you and have you here as we talk about what's going on in the Bloomfield School District. I know you've made a few trips to Santa Fe with the legislative session, and you're watching some of the bills that are being debated and moving through committee?
Yes, we are. I was just down there last week and with the School Boards Association, so the school board members attend and get training hours in, and we're watching the pre-K bill and also just the general funding of how they're going to allocate the funds this year. They're kind of adjusting our at-risk factors and looking at the unit value and how, we're right now they send us projections and we run the numbers and we report back and say whether that will cover the mandates, which I mean the going to $10 an hour per employee, the 6% raise for all employees, and then the salary increases of $41, $50, and $60. And right now, what they sent us does not cover those mandates, so we're a little bit nervous.
Right.
So we're hoping that as we go back and forth with communication to the State Department, those adjustments will be made. And it has pretty much to do with the at-risk value that they're applying to districts, or they're looking at. They've changed our process recently, and so it's I think they're just trying to figure out how it's going to work into the funding formula.
I see. And this is affecting Bloomfield schools, but other districts too, I would assume,
yes,
right? You're doing the same numbers as other districts
right.
are.
While I was there, Santa Fe and Los Alamos also reported that it was falling short of meeting the mandates.
Gotcha. And it seems to me, unfortunately, that this is not maybe a new thing with government. When they give you a mandate, that you don't always get the money to fulfill that mandate. Does that happen often?
It happens more often than not sometimes. We're hopeful this year that they'll make the adjustment. There's a lot of moving parts right now with everything that's going on at the state level, as far as funding, and then also the evaluation system. They're getting rid of the grading system.
Right.
And so we are hopefully, in fact, today we're meeting with the Secretary of Education. They're doing regional meetings, and they're rewriting our Every Student Succeeds Act, that is our federal application, so that they can make the changes that they would like, because everything's tied to that application and federal dollars. So you have to amend your application, and that has to go in, I believe, March 1st. So that's this Friday. So they're under the wire to try to get everything done.
Interesting. And of course, we always hear about there's more money available for public education. There's a lot of focus on public education at the session this year, and all that sounds good on the surface, but when you dig a little deeper, you find some of these issues that the money that's being allocated may not pay for all these grandiose ideas, I suppose, or salary increases to bring people up a little bit,
right.
Which is great intentions.
The intention is wonderful. It's just how it actually plays out, and actually what allocations we get. So we have a lot of anxiety at this time of year because we're running the numbers, and in Bloomfield in particular, we're down students, about 250 students. So that impacts us significantly. So we're also looking at our staffing and looking at school numbers and how many students are in the classrooms. We start delving into it quite heavily. In fact, we'll have our cabinet meeting Thursday to look at every school and kind of get an idea of what some of the decisions we're going to have to make.
Sure.
And so, especially if that funding doesn't come through, we'll be looking seriously at some. I would just say we have like 21 openings right now that we haven't filled. We're going to look at those openings and say, do we absolutely have to have those positions? And make some decisions there, and then we'll move on through the schools. So
right, that makes a lot of sense. But of course, I know your finance people. I don't know how they do it every year, but they get this the budget that comes out of even a 30-day session, then they have a quick turnaround. This is a 60-day session, so you'll get numbers maybe by the time the governor signs everything. We're looking maybe mid-April.
Yes,
so.
And then our budget is due in May.
In May,
yeah, I mean it's a quick turnaround.
It is a quick
right
turnaround.
now we have probably. My finance director is Jody Maestas. She has about 4 different spreadsheets, and she can,
option A, B, C, and D,
exactly.
depending on what they come up with.
That's what we do, and we just keep running the numbers to see as we get the information. It gets communicated to us through our executive director of the Superintendents Association. He shares out and we'll run the numbers and give him feedback, and he goes and lobbies for and expressing our concerns, for example. So. It's an interesting process, I would say, and I went and visited our representatives and talked to as many as I could while I was down there, and appreciate their support and try to encourage them to vote against or for certain things. So they seem to be aligned with my thinking, so I felt good about my visits. So
Good.
we'll
Well,
see.
all right. We'll have to see, right? But
Right.
but again, the idea to increase the minimum wage for workers in our state, to increase teacher salaries for those level 1, 2, and 3 teachers, I think everybody seems to agree that these are positive things, especially for the profession of teaching, where we've seen a lot of shortages, a lot of districts having trouble recruiting teachers and things like that. So that's all good. It's just getting the money to pay for it all.
Exactly. We want, obviously, we feel teachers deserve everything that they're going to get. However, the projections are within a 3-year period, you get up to $45,000 per year. But when we actually receive the projections from the state, it doesn't cover us getting there in 3 years. So we're concerned.
Right. And of course, all this with the lawsuit looming over the state and the legislature, which was put forward by a judge to
Right.
discuss, I think special education was the primary focus of that issue
and
with
Native
funding.
American students and Hispanic students, any
Okay, minority.
any at-risk population.
I see, of which Bloomfield has
we
a
have-
significant number.
Yes, we do. We are one-third, basically, is our demographic breakdown, Native American, Anglo, and Hispanic.
Okay.
And so, we are very concerned about that. We want to make sure that we're doing the right things for our students always. And one of the bills it's actually in the Senate right now, I believe it's Senate Bill 171, has to do with districts like Bloomfield, CCSD, Gallup, McKinley, Zuni. We apply for impact aid funds. We do the entire application, which is quite lengthy. However, with the amount of money we get from the federal government, the state takes 75% of that. So we only get 25% of the dollars. And I've always felt that impact aid is the best way to address that lawsuit, because it really does address the Native American students that we
Sure.
could, if we got the funding for that, we could do more tutoring, we could do more assistance, we probably could put in the early childhood situation educational assistance and breaking up those classrooms, making the student-teacher ratio a little bit better. There's some things that we could do that could really impact and help those students coming in that maybe have language barriers. We are really supporting that. It's still on the floor. It's supposed to be heard, I believe, this week. We're hopeful. I think there's a phase right now that 75% that the state takes, they put it into the funding formula for the entire state.
Mm-hmm.
And the proposal that's on the floor right now is that they would eventually phase that out of the funding formula, and we would actually end up getting all of our money. And for Bloomfield, that's about $4.5 million. So
That's
it's a lot.
significant.
Right.
It sounds to
and
me.
then it's $60 million total in the state.
Wow.
And so those like Gallup, they would get a large portion of that because there's all the tribal lands that
Sure.
they educate students on.
Right. Something to watch, but that's something maybe that's being discussed, I suppose,
Yes.
and an option perhaps to get more of that money into the local districts than clogging it up at the state level.
Right, and it's under consideration. So
Gotcha. We talk about finances, and I have to bring up the mill levy vote that was held last month, or earlier this month, as a matter of fact, pardon me, beginning of February. And Bloomfield, unfortunately, along for you, and I know you feel that way, with Aztec, were the two districts that the mill levy did not pass.
Right.
And you were one of the narrowest of margins. I think about a little over 70 votes
right
was the difference.
71.
So what does that mean for the Bloomfield district? Less money?
That means we don't get $1.5 million for the next 6 years, each year, for our district to do maintenance and purchase equipment and do upgrades of things. Right now I have 4 air conditioning units that cost $60,000 each that need to be replaced, and I had hoped to get that money so that I could replace those air conditioning units. So we have some leaks in the roofs. We have a crack in our wrestling room. All of that funding would have helped pay for the repairs and maintenance of that. So it's very concerning. I learned a lesson. I really felt I was kind of a little bit hesitant about getting out, and they told us that we really couldn't campaign for it. However, after further inquiry, I found that you have to have like a special interest group pushing it for you. So I have contacted some local people to support it. And then also I'm going to we will be going out for another election in November. It will be not a mail-in election. I was very disappointed with the results. Our voter rosters are not accurate. So, for example, 9,000 letters were sent out for Bloomfield.
Okay.
And about 5,000 of them were not deliverable, meaning those people did not change their address in the voter registration. So there's a whole bunch of envelopes at the courthouse that were not even delivered.
Right.
And then I'm estimating, it's not an actual number, about 300 letters were mailed in on time. They were postmarked on time. However, since Bloomfield's mail goes to Albuquerque and back, did not get back in time to be counted.
Interesting.
And
that's some of the issues with a mail-in ballot.
Right.
So the next time you put this question to your voters in the district, it'll be a regular go into the polling place, vote. Got it. And certainly it's got to be a bit frustrating because I know your issue was not going to raise property taxes, but certainly they will go down if it didn't pass, and it did not pass. Right. But it wasn't going to be a tax increase, and this money, as you say, is used for technology, maintenance, repairs, and things like that. So I suppose if you have a repair you need to make, that money has to come now from somewhere else.
Right. It'll come out of our general operational funds.
And that's what pays for your teacher salaries and everything else, I suppose, correct?
Exactly.
And that's what you have to juggle.
I'm faced with some very difficult decisions.
Right, indeed. Well, let's take a short break. Dr. Mizell, she's my guest this morning from the Bloomfield School District, Superintendent of Schools, of course, and we're going to take a short break. But when we come back, more with my guest in just a moment on KSJE. The time is 8:26.
There's a basic and seemingly obvious question missing from the tech startup cycle. Should this exist? From American Public Media, this is Marketplace Tech, demystifying the digital economy. I'm Molly Wood.
Marketplace Tech is supported by Home Advisor, matching homeowners with home improvement professionals for a variety of home projects, from repairs to remodels. Homeowners can read reviews and book appointments online at homeadvisor.com. And by ThoughtWorks, presenting GoCD, a modern CI/CD tool that provides control of and visibility into software deployments. Support for cloud environments like Kubernetes, Docker, AWS, Azure, and more. GoCD.org.
When it comes to tech, companies and investors and entrepreneurs mostly talk about what it can do instead of what it should do. Like, should health and wellness apps funnel detailed personal information about their users directly to